I knew I was autistic, I used to say to myself, well, this is just a thing I have to do, because if I don't do this, I'll get distracted by something. So if I keep walking back and forth in this rhythm, then I can disappear inside my own mind. What it feels like when I stim is, do you know when you ask your computer to do a particularly difficult task, and then the fan gets really loud, and the computer itself starts to get loud, and it gets hot, but you know that when your computer is doing that, it's working on a particularly intensive task. That's what stimming does for me. It allows me to enter flow state. I've always known this in my heart. I just haven't had the words for it. This paper now confirms it. They spoke to loads of autistic people and they're reporting the same thing. That stimming is how we induce flow state, because flow state is so important to our mental health and feeling of safety. We flow just to live, rather than specifically to engage in tasks. Now I also enter flow to engage in creative tasks. I'm trying to think of a good metaphor for how the new way that this paper is looking at autism. It's like autistic people are a spotlight and non-autistic people are a floodlight. A spotlight is very bright, very focused on one point with excellent detail around, like a laser. Whereas a floodlight, again, very bright but less intense, and it allows you to see everything. So the autistic person, the spotlight, sees one thing extremely well, but then everything outside of that spotlight fades away. So we're thinking about seagulls, but then nothing else is allowed in. It's just fucking seagulls. And when I'm thinking about seagulls on my roof and researching, then I'm in flow, and then patterns emerge, and then my brain gets so relaxed that I'm able to connect things that don't seem connected at all, but at the expense of experiencing the passage of time, the expense of noticing that I'm hungry, the expense of maintaining friendships, unfortunately. But the non-autistic person, they don't have that spotlight, they have the floodlight. Seagulls are on their roof, they notice it, they're annoyed, but they don't give it that much thought. There's seagulls up on my fucking roof. Better text someone and tell him. That'd be an interesting story, wouldn't it? Gonna text my friend Joseph and say, how are you getting on, man? Oh, not too bad. I've got fucking seagulls up on my roof. Oh, really? No way. What are you doing tomorrow night? I'm looking at Man United. Fuck it, let's go to the pub together. Alright, see you then. See you too, man. Hope there's no seagulls. Actually, the non-autistic person would not have signed off with hope there's no seagulls, because they'd have forgotten about them by then. That's me being autistic. I'd have had to sign off with a seagull mention, and I wouldn't have gone to the pub because I'd have needed to read about seagulls on Wikipedia. But the non-autistic person has the floodlight, okay? And this sensory shit as well. You know, when I was in school and I'd get in so much trouble because I wouldn't wear my fucking school jumpers. Other people are wearing the same school jumper. Like, school jumpers aren't supposed to be comfortable. They're a little bit itchy. But non-autistic people just get on with it. They just get it. It's a small bit itchy. Fuck it, who cares? What are we doing, maths? Not me. I can only focus on this fucking itchy school jumper until it feels painful and it's driving me crazy, and now I'm taking it off, even though the teacher has told me to put it back on 6 times, and now I'm out in the hallway. Blindboy, where's your economics homework? Economics homework? I was listening to Cypress Hill last night. Have you heard of Cypress Hill? Why didn't you do your economics homework? Because I can't think about anything other than Cypress Hill. That's all I'm able to think about is Cypress Hill. Nothing else. And when I listen to the music of Cypress Hill, and when I think about Cypress Hill, I feel like I'm in heaven. I feel calm. I feel happy. I feel okay to exist and to be alive. I feel like the exact opposite of standing in a room full of people where they all have competing conversations. Cypress Hill saves me from that, but I'm afraid it's not possible at all for me to be interested in economics when I'm interested in Cypress Hill right now. I might be interested in something else next month. It might be economics, I don't know, But if I'm fucking interested in something and I'm focused on something, I learn everything about it, but I can't learn anything else. And that was my experience at school, which I was heavily punished for. But that's the spotlight. That's the flow state autistic spotlight versus the neurotypical floodlight. The world is designed for floodlights. It's not designed for spotlights. What would it be like trying to walk home in the dark? Two separate torches. You give one person a very intense spotlight, and then you give another person a floodlight. The person walking home in the dark with the spotlight, they can focus that intensely on details. They can shine it on a fucking hedge and identify in 2 seconds what that hedge is, what colour it is, the structure of the leaves, and then they can move it over and they see a cat and they get a good look at that cat's face because it's a fucking spotlight. But then the journey home, the journey is going to be a lot more difficult. You're going to fall over. You'll get disoriented and confused. But if you've got a floodlight, your journey will be easier. You'll be able to see a little bit of everything at once. You can take it all in. You won't trip over things. The journey will be simplified. But you might miss out on moments of complete and total focus and clarity on one spot. And when you try to do it, you might just get bored and move on. I mean, are you going to read about the history of door handles for 4 hours? Or after 10 minutes would you get bored and go, why the fuck am I reading about the history of door handles? This isn't that interesting. Well, I'll read about the history of door handles for 4 hours and love every second of it. This is a bit of a selfish podcast, but I've finally found a research and a theory of autism that really aligns with my lived experience.